Hello everybody, for DB14 here, and at last we have part 2 of Happy Tree Friends Review. Yep, I'm back. I will talk more about the characters and that. Tomorrow I'll show clips in the morning. I'll be showing clips from some episodes about the characters. I'll also be going online to find out about them. I'll show some clips. So finally you'll see clips, but there are going to be no clips in this one. Not in part 1 or 2, because the last video I made was a continuation of part 1, since it got cancelled in the first one I made, which was part 1. It's supposed to be full 30 minutes, but it got cancelled, so I had to make 7 minutes of it. Where, of course, I had my, let me put it this way, I had my weird surprise in the continuation of part 1 near the ending. So yeah, I'm still doing a pretty good job trying to do it, but I've been forgetting the time on how to do it. So, here we go. At long last, we have part 2. But this is going to be great. So, this is part 2. So now that we know the Happy Tree Friends, I explained some. But we're going to talk about Flippy first, my favorite character. He's a green bear who was in the army and he retired. He sees something war-related, he flips out, kills characters. Since I found out on Google that the Happy Tree Friends wiki says something about Flippy, there was 2 articles. One is about himself, one is about his evil side. And when I found his friends and allies for his evil side, no one. And it said for rivals and enemies, almost everyone. No love interests. For the regular Flippy, the good one, his friends and allies are that, but Lifty and Shifty, the 2 raccoons, they're actually rivals even when he's not flipped out. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Also, his love interest as a regular Flippy is Giggles. I've seen it on my mind where he's on a date with her, and the love bites one, where he's sitting there with her, he hands her a rose, he opens a champagne bottle, and it makes a gunshot-like noise. He flips out, grabs the rose, rips it out of her hand, tears off skin from her hand, shoves the ending, not the red part, but the little ending of it, right into her head. And then the moral says, "Can't you get it for your head? We're through, or we're done." Yep, exactly how it is. Still have weird things though. So anyways, about some of the episodes. For Flippy's episodes, the hide-and-seek one was his first appearance. Because all that happened is that he was playing hide-and-seek with Toofy, Flaky, and Petunia. He flipped out when a woodpecker started pecking the tree, making it look like a gunshot, or machine guns. He flipped out, threw a knife at the bird, and actually saw him throw it this time. So I got the idea. I thought it just flew out of nowhere first. So then after he killed the bird, he killed Toofy using camouflage in a tree. Snapped his neck. Went like that. He killed Flaky by hanging her up with a rope, and we didn't see her head after that. He killed Petunia by putting a grenade in her hand after sending her to a spike pit. He was like that. Put a grenade in her hand. He wasn't flipped out because his eyes weren't the big irises. They were the regular Pac-Man shaped pupils. And he put the grenade in her hand and it exploded. The next episode we have was Flipping Burgers, where they were at a restaurant. This mainly had the featuring characters other than him were Cuddles, Giggles, Petunia, Pop, and Cub. The Pop and Cub at the ending. But here's the other thing. What I still try to get over this episode at first, why it's happened. about how he flipped out, but I thought it was because of the ketchup dispenser of the gun thing, but it was bloodshed that was on Giggles, because Cuddles accidentally squirted ketchup on Giggles. So then, I thought at first Giggles was a bear too as well, but I'll put it to you this way. She is not a bear as shown in the Wikipedia. She's actually a girl chipmunk. And no, Petunia's not one, she's actually a blue skunk. But she doesn't smell bad because she has the air freshener, as I found out too about it as well. About her bio. So anyways, back to the episode. He walked in, saw the ketchup on Giggles. He thought it was bloodshed. So he flipped out. He flipped the table over, sent French fries flying, and they never came down until after the whole place exploded. They never came down. But other than that, he shoved the straw in the Cuddles and he had to suck up his own blood trying to get it back. And he did. But then he ended up dying from that. So yeah, he then killed Giggles by shoving the ketchup and mustard dispensers in her head for her ears, which kind of killed her. He shoved Petunia's face on the grill twice. Then the explosion came, which killed Pop and Cub. Then he came down and acted cannibalistic. Because he had a French fry dipped in blood. So yeah, he gets cannibalistic sometimes in episodes. So now we know why Flippy's like that. He's cannibalistic because of eating two kinds of foods with blood on them. A French fry in that episode, and in another episode he ate a Christmas tree cookie with blood on it from one of the raccoons he killed. So I'm surprised about that. The Easy for You to Slay episode, that wasn't really much bad. I mainly watched the second part of that one where he's in it. They robbed his house, but that was a mistake, Lifty and Shifty, the two raccoons. And I still can't get over why I mixed them up. Like, I thought Lifty was the one with the hat and Shifty was the one without it. But Shifty is the one with the blue green hat and Lifty's the one without it. So then they started robbing the stuff. They broke two things which did not wake Flippy up. Now here's what I thought was going to wake him up. The part where the TV came on when they tried to steal it. The TV turned on and played a horn. And believe me, I thought that was going to wake him up, since it is war-related. Incredibly, he didn't. He shook around like that and never woke up. They continued robbing stuff till it was empty, except for a plate of cookies. Then that's when he woke up, after a crumb fell to the ground. What idiots they are. They should have just picked up the entire plate without picking up just a cookie to make a crumb fall down. Unless that was actually planned. So then he wakes up, finds out he's been tied, and reminded him of ditching. So then he gets out of his trap, chases after the two raccoons, locks them in the house, and they end up going another way. Lifty's impaled by candy canes, and he has to lick his way out. While Shifty goes for this little golden statue and empties a part of sand from the bags to make it the same weight. So he emptied it, made it the same, and he tried to get the sandbag back, like making an idiotic move and getting his own hand cut off. And then that's when he fell into Flippy's snare after seeing the Christmas tree lights. Because then Flippy cracked an ornament, blew the dust and glass into Shifty's face. He got into the snare trap, and then the cannibalistic part. Flippy whipped out the cookie as a bowie knife and cut him down to shreds. And cut him up. And then he ate the cookie. And then that's not over, though. Because after Lifty got out of the candy cane trap, he ran out, jumped out the window, as followed by a disguised Shifty, which was really Flippy with the body parts. So he took it off, like that. Lifty ended up getting impaled and crushed, sliced in the little snowflower thing, the roller thing. He turned it on and made it look like a present. Another episode Flippy was in was Happy Trails Part 2, where on the raft on the island, he was mad at Flaky. So then he killed her, and he wasn't even flipped out. He just had regular little black circle pupils, not big arses. He was like that, and he wasn't in his evil mode. He probably killed her with a rock and ran that thing down. But unfortunately, though, Flippy does die in that episode. He dies from the sun's heat when they're in that rocket. Him, Sniffles, and Handy. I think, or Toothy. But Flippy and the other character, Handy or Toothy, are burned by the heat, while Sniffles' head explodes from it. So, yeah, Flippy gets burned from it. Here today, gone tomorrow, he flips out after seeing stuff in his dream, where then he woke up in his bed, already flipped out. So he went to Lumpy's house. Now here's a running gag I found out. Flippy actually fails to kill Lumpy, except for one, in the Keeping It Real one, which was off-screen. But the other times, he failed to kill Lumpy, because he answered the doorbell, tried to get it open, and then he put a log, which then hit him. He resisted his evil form in the helicopter, so then him and Cuddles died after trying to run away. Now another funny episode I remember is Party Animal, where I already talked about on my mind while I was still talking about his bio. Anyways, the Party Animal one. That's where they had a party from him. He appeared as a dark figure in part 1, but he appeared in part 2. So I thought he was going to flip out the doorway, but he didn't. Also with the cake cutter, I thought he was going to flip out too. Because it showed his evil reflection. He did have the evil reflection, and he just shook it off. And then had some cake. And then Nutty had a little bit of sugar, which took the peanuts from mine. And then the peanuts flew into Flaky's mouth, which she's allergic to. Then she blew up. She started popping all the balloons, which then made Flippy flip out for real. Because it reminded him of machine guns. Again, just like the woodpecker from Hide and Seek. This time it happened. He had the not cookie cutter. Why the hell did I say that? The cake cutter in his hand. And then he turned around, and right at that moment he looked at Toothy. He dropped the plate. He was like, and Flippy went right toward him and cut up his face. And then that funny gag came in where it said, "Would you like some face cake?" In the comments I found on video, someone commented on that video, and it was like, "Would you like some face cake?" Then he started killing others. He killed Cuddles by tying a string of balloons around his neck, made him fly up to the ceiling and then get shredded. He killed Nutty by slicing him up with a cake cutter and turning red in his tornado form and then dying. He killed Sniffles by trapping him in the barrel, and yes, Sniffles a boy, I thought it was a girl at first. He got rolled down the hill and bam, right into a tree. But the mole got killed after poking Flaky, which she exploded, and then Flippy had the little drink thing, which actually had the peanuts in it. So he got allergic, but he didn't blow up though. It just showed the mouth and the purple dots, and then the iris came in and took off his lips. See, that was pretty weird. And the final thing I'm going to talk about with Flippy and was the double whammy one. Of course, he had deaths. He had killing people, and he finally realized what he had done. So, after 3 attempts, he fails. He killed Disco Bear by cutting his head open and then putting a grenade in there and exploding. Killed Petunia by jumping on her. Killed Giggles by hitting her in the head and her eyes came out and hit the propeller blade. And then Flaky's scream snapped him out of his flip out, and then that's when he realized it. The first thing that happened was that he did the breeding ritual. It worked, but when Sniffles shot an arrow at the archer, he tried it and it actually worked. He tried it with a grenade again, but this time he almost flipped out. But then with the flamethrower thing, he flipped out by mine. He was doing the flamethrower thing, which reminded him of flamethrowers in the war, so he flipped out, killed mine. He tried a second thing to calm down. A little stress toy. This little purple thing to squeeze like that. So I had the water gun shooting thing. Nutty was doing it. He popped the balloon thing, which almost made Flippy flip out. So he squeezed the toy, it exploded, he flipped out again. He grabbed Nutty, put his head through the wall, and then shot water into his mouth until his head got bigger and exploded. So then that happened. The third thing was a hypnotizing, which then made him see his evil clone, and they had to fight throughout the rest of the whole thing, even in all topsy-turvy. Yep. And that's what happened. So then the original Flippy was ran over after curing his stress disorder, but in the On My Mind one, he got his disorder back. Yeah, I knew that didn't mean he wasn't gonna flip out in later episodes. He still was, no matter what. Yeah, that's what happened. And that's mainly some stuff about Flippy. Oh yeah, one more episode I'm gonna do without a hitch where Flicky imagined that he was killing her in them, but he actually got killed for real after the third hallucination. The first hallucination, they had cheese. He flipped out and rolled up the window and sliced her head off, sliced Flaky's head off. Then in the second hallucination, he had he was trying to, he came over there, picked up the little armor thing. Flaky was all like that, and then shoved it in her eye and pulled it out, and he drove the truck. The third hallucination, I think, was the funniest one. He threw her head through the window after seeing the razor, lifted up the windshield wiper with the razor on it. He was like, let it go and slice off her face into 8 layers or 10. I'm guessing it was 8 though. Yeah. Well, that's what happened. Now, Cuddles, the next character. Boy, is all his deaths were memorable. There were some things I remember too. Like, the first time I ever saw him was in the first episode I watched of Happy Tree Friends. I didn't even know nothing about this show. From A to Z, one of the internet shorts. I watched it. I was kind of liking it. I like that part where he played with the helium tank in the episode. He did it. He went to the tank. He sucked it, helium from it, and then started singing in a high-pitched voice. Then he started doing this. Later was then he saw the baboon who escaped. Carlos got scared. He ran into the helium tank exhaust thing, going, wow! He started screaming, and his other eye came out like a balloon. And then Luffy grabbed the eye balloon and tied it and went and was dragging him across the ground. And now some other deaths I remember. I also remember the one from Hero to Eternity. The one where he got knocked out by a snowball with a rock in his eye. Then Splendid came and started blowing him up. So then he blew him up for real, made him explode. Going like that and made all the stuff fly everywhere. I remember many deaths. I remember the water slide one where he killed Flaky by pushing her down the water slide, making her get skinned. Her half came out. And then Cuddles died after he went down the slide and 2 parts of the slide were disconnected. So he slid down on the slide, got killed. I also remember that I get a trick out of you one where he dies from a magic trick, Lumpy does. After Cuddles raised his hand like that, we saw a yellow hand while it was on Lumpy. We saw a yellow hand go up, and that was Cuddles. So then he did it. And he was in the box, got open, and then he didn't shrink it. But then he ended up dying after the newspaper trick where nothing comes out. Which killed Cuddles because he wasn't getting any more blood. Also remember the one where he got that blood donated thing from the mole, which then just like changed up his personality stuff, not personality but his looks. Also remember the one where Nutty wanted his ice cream cone, and Cuddles was killed by getting sliced in 3 layers from steps. When his legs came down, when his stomach part came off, and then when his head, which grinded his teeth in the ground and started making the teeth smaller. And that's exactly what happened. Another thing I remember. No, I was gonna do I was gonna do more parts of talking about 3 characters in each, but I'll probably have to save that up for a later episode or something. But I'll at least show clips tomorrow, so that'll help. So then there were more deaths of Cuddles I remember, like the one then after the elevator one. his bottom half of the body was blown up. It exploded after Lumpy tried to blow into the tube thing that blew up the lower legs because his upper half was gone. Almost the same to From Hero to Eternity, where he got blown up by Splendid. Super breath. The breath also killed Cuddles in another way, where he got frozen by it, and then got melted from the laser thing turned into ice cubes. And Cuddles has survived many episodes too. So that just makes him a memorable character. If I do have time after I talk about this character, I might do the next favorite. Next character is Nutty, my third favorite character. Nutty is just so crazy and funny. He's crazy as hell. So anyways, here's how he does. Of course, his addiction with candy, which I do like it when people go crazy with it. Even though it used to annoy me, I actually like it now. They just jump around and go crazy for candy. I'll admit, I do that sometimes too as well. Yep, I had kind of issues with candy addiction. But, I don't go that crazy with candy anymore like I used to. I did that when I was a little boy, but I don't do that anymore. I stopped doing it like at the age of 12. I stopped going crazy for the candy like that. But all the ages younger than 12, I did do it. So then Nutty. Of course, we remember some famous deaths from him in some episodes. Like, the one I remember is ICU, where, he sees candy. He wants, then the slushy thing he finds, where, he sees a slushy machine, and he wants it, so he puts the candy down, he goes for it, he drinks from the cup twice. Now here's what I think that's funny about the character's hands in Happy Tree Friends. The hands are funny. When they go like this, it looks kind of funny. Like the one where Nutty put a coin in the candy machine one, where, the vending machine where he went like this with it, went like that. The hands look funny, especially on Nutty's. I got any character, like also the one where Cuddles waves his hand in the air in the magic trick one. But the one where Nutty put his coins in there, he also did it with a cup. That was funny too. Also like that, where he threw the cup away and started drinking it from the plate. It's funny how they move their hands. Like they go like this. Well, I have to lean down to show you because I'm kind of close to the camera, so it won't show. But it goes like that. Like this when they do it. Same thing with Flippy in the one where he put a grenade in Petunia's hand. He was like this. Alright. So then, pretty much a weird thing. So yeah. Anyway, the one where he drank it, he bloated up after, he was kind of a little bit wobbly in his stomach because he drank too much of it, after ripping off his jaw. The pole thing impaled him, like, and he was like, then started flying around the room, like, deflating the room, where, his organs and intestines flew out of his body and he smacked into the door and then the head crushed it. Of course, the other death I remember was the one with the water gun from Double Whammy, the one where when I was talking about Flippy, where he filled Nutty's mouth with water till Nutty's head exploded and went like that. There were some other episodes too. Like I remember the one where he wanted a box of chocolates, a box of chocolate hearts, and then Lumpy ate it. So in that part where Nutty was in there, he was so angry by it. It wasn't an imagination. He killed Lumpy. And then he made one of the most epic angry faces. And I might show that in one of the clips tomorrow, where he makes one of the most epic angry faces ever. Yeah, that scene was funny, where he was like killing Lumpy because of that. I'll admit that was funny, but that was one of the most epic faces I've ever seen from Nutty. He's usually all happy and crazy and stuff, but that was so angry. That was like so epic. He's usually a character who just acts so crazy. But when he started doing that planning thing, he started doing the planning thing where he was in that room where he killed Nutty in his imagination. Now, why did I say that? Lumpy in his imagination. It was all just a dream thing, an imagination that Nutty killed Lumpy. So then he made one of the most epic angry faces, like. Now I started getting closer. Then it showed him with another face in jail, a surprise face that he got framed. But still, I might show that clip of the angry face tomorrow. And I mean, it's so funny. One of the most epic angry faces I've ever seen from Nutty on this show. From any character. Nutty just had the most epic face in that episode. But he does die in the ending of that, run over by the ambulance truck and grinded across the ground. But that was way before, after the box of chocolates were eaten by Lumpy. He went to that room. Nutty went to that room. He had, in the imagination dream, he had Lumpy killed. With all them pictures on the table, the proof about it. So then he made that angry face, even on the zoomed out part, where then it cut to the pictures where he was like that, and then the up closer shot of his angry face. The epic face I've ever seen from any character in a cartoon. That's kind of dumb and crazy, but that was so great. One of the most epic angry faces I've ever seen. So then after that, he's released from the jail. He goes back to the Chocolate Hearts, which then end up broken. So then there were some other things. And that's mainly much I kind of remember from some episodes about Nutty. Even the actor is crazy too. Guy whose nickname is Lippy. Not Flippy, Lippy. That's the actor's nickname. He does the voice of Nutty. I think he did a pretty good job though. But they don't talk about the other actors and what they look like. Like, they talked about a few of them. The next favorite I'm going to talk about, of course, are Pop and Cub, my fourth favorite. I love them too. I love these two duo members. I love this duo so much. I love the Pop especially. Like the part in the Smoochie one where the Cub is playing with the top, and he finally notices that the Cub's dying, so he goes, "It's dying." That's the scream I like the best from Pop, where he goes, "It's dying." He pushes on the button. But he also said some other simple words too, like where he goes, "Ooh, ooh, ooh," where he tried to look for him. His head, Cub's head was underwater, and Pop was right above it. He didn't even look down and see him. Yes, I'll admit, Pop does act stupid sometimes. So does the Cub. Like, the one where the Cub was playing with the electric razor to cut his hair. And under that hat was a lot of hair. So the Cub just put the razor in his mouth like an idiot. And then the Pop turned around like an idiot and killed Cub. The Cub shouldn't have done that. So it was mainly Cub's fault for that, putting the razor in his mouth. But Pop's part of it was where he turned it on. Ended up killing the Cub. So yeah, pretty much makes sense now. Another thing I remember is that they're just so unforgettable. Now here's another thing I remember. Like in the Flippin' Burgers one, after Flippy's killed Petunia, the restaurant explodes. Pop and Cub are walking and they end up in the explosion. Let me find something else that happens. That's everything I remember from Pop and Cub. Oh yes, the lawnmower one, where the Cub was playing with the lawnmower. He saw a brick in there. The Pop woke up. He screamed that the Cub was about to get his hand cut off after removing the brick. Of course, that famous scream came in again from the Pop where he goes, "Okay." He goes, the top part where Cub goes, "Ugh." Yeah. So then, the Pop goes, "Okay." No, wait, let me try it again. "Okay." Haha, caught. 1 minute left. But still, though, I still think that Nutty's epic angry face was so great. Also, that famous scream from Pop as well, like where he goes, "Okay," and all that. But Nutty's epic angry face was a really good thing. I mean, I love Nutty so much. I love his epic angry face he made in that episode, the one where he was with the box of chocolate hearts. He got framed for it and all that. I just love that epic angry face he made. So yeah, tomorrow in part 3 we'll have clips. We'll finally have clips from it, so that'll be a good thing. Probably tomorrow, because part 3 will be the final part. And then I'll make a new episode of it where I'll go over some other things. I already know what I'm going to do next time for episode 3, but I'll let you guys see it when I make it. So, see you guys next time.